okay to see it? Or? So different dances have worked with different things. So
but did they create them, or is it finished them when the dancers come into the box?
no, when the dancers are coming in, they are basically building and performing in space while public are coming and going.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the public are entering and leaving all the time in this 8 hours as they want. So it's like an ongoing. So yeah, as you've seen. I just go a bit faster down because so this was how it looked, and then after so basically everything we use there, it stays there, and then we just continue building. So this was a day that we took everything a bit out and then we brought everything in again to rebuild the place. So we I think we just did everything there first for 4 days, and then we started having a little bit of problem. Was that public started to behave a bit strangely in that space. People started painting, they started doing things. And then we started having a little bit of problem with it, because then it looked like anarchy place that everybody can do whatever they want because of the mess. Because basically whatever we used in there stayed in there, and then it became this mess. So at least our theory was that it looked like everything goes here at certain points. Some of the dances was problematic because actually I think they didn't behave well enough in that. I mean, behave in the sense when you are doing something you can get lost into it, and I think some public really sees it, and then they can play with you too much in a sense. So one of the, I mean, we had people that were hitting or throwing stones and stuff at them, and this at one of them, and then this was a bit like we had a big discussion why this happened with some and not with all, and what is the problem, what is it. And part of my theory was that probably because some just vanishes into it, and then you become an object as a body, and then I can use you as I want, while some others are really pretty present, so they will never, even they're totally gone, nobody will dare to touch them, because you know that it's a persona, and this person at a certain point will react back at you or something. And then the space, basically, if it's not organized well enough, it just looks like messy, and then I can just continue making mess. So we had like some, I mean, when I talk about that, I talk bombastic. I had this kind of idea that we sat down and we discussed, and then I said that the space looks like this, that in Cairo, this square, and then in this, the funny part with the square was that they stayed there and they asked constantly Mubarak to leave. But then at the same time they had occupied the whole half of the city. So, and my theory was that why do they ask the power to leave? Why can't they just reorganize the society from that moment and say, in a way, we have won, declare themselves, declare themselves as winner, and then start reorganizing instead of waiting for the power to leave, because they have already won over the power theoretically. When Hezbollah, it was a war between Israel and Hezbollah some times ago. When the thing was that Hezbollah at certain point they had come to agreement to stop the war, but Hezbollah went out before because it was a Shabbat. So Hezbollah went out and declared that the war is finished now between them. With this action, theoretically and practically, they made themselves to a power by declaration of it officially. So they made that this war was against them, and now the state of Israel has come to agreement with peace agreement with the terrorist group Hezbollah. By this action, they made themselves actually legitimate as power. So in this sense, they really gain extreme power. And so it's like a similar idea. So we just took this idea and said that we have to reorganize the space. So in a way, we don't. So when we started building like this kind of objects and painting and putting everything. So basically we, for example, with the papers, we started cutting and filling this guy up, putting papers, putting traces. So, and again, making hills and stuff. So then when the public entered, they could see the chaos, but you could also see how this garbage has been reused again to create different things. So of course we were there 11 days, 8 hours a day. So as you can see, like after some days this guy becomes filled up and now you have mainly images without the people in it, but no, these are like one of the dancers playing and then the public coming in and out. This was the installation that we did in Prague, and then this is in Paris. In Paris, we did it in part of something called Hooman, which is a green ribbon, which started a certain, like people started gathering and working after this Iranian uprising, and like different artists start to work. So here is in the Rue de Rivoli, which is like a Karl Johan of Paris, basically, with a shopping street, and there's a gallery called Gallery 52, and public are just passing by, basically. So in there, so this is the dances. We worked 4 hours, no 5 hours, basically, and then behind here there are let's say, like, if here's a window in the gallery, there are lots of TVs which uses the images from Iran that people filmed with their mobile phone and send it on YouTube with hittings and running and all this kind of thing. So the dances are in a front or different places, and then when you enter, normally because of the windows you always see yourself first and the dancers, and then you have to come a bit closer and then you see the images that are hitting. So we had like 2.5 hours like this, and then 2 hours that public could come in. So and these installations were always interesting because we always, so this is the TVs and 2 TVs here, 16 TVs here. We always fucked it up pretty good in the beginning. The first day was really terrible. We never managed to find this kind of links between the images and what you do, and again this kind of, the images are so strong and so realistic, and then you have this arty-farty shit that's happening behind there, and then you don't understand why do you do this? Why can't you just show the videos? And I mean, and I always found this questioning extremely productive, because at certain point this extreme conflicts, and then you have to find solutions, and what are the solutions, and how can they become something out of it, was always an interesting. So this is we really like this place because it's really people who don't come for art.
Yeah, for shopping.
Yeah, they come for shopping, and then you have like H&M, and then suddenly this, and then Zara, and then. So I mean, I liked it a lot, and we had very nice reactions and very nice publics. It was very interesting in a sense. Yeah. Yeah, and always interesting how youngsters are reacting to this kind of, like, when you have like I don't know, 8, 10 French youngsters from the suburb of Paris shouting like this to the window. It was very nice. So this is Paris, and then we also did it in Bergen, which is also an interesting one. In Bergen, there was this concept that we should not have any electricity, blah 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 blah. Very like working with this whatever this place has. And during this Rubamvar, we were working, and then I met Elika. Elika is a visual artist and painter from Iran, and she lives in Paris, and she worked a lot with different paintings from this uprising, and then we invited her to come and in a way paint while we were performing behind the windows. So she started painting basically there, and then we are behind the window. So within 5 hours the painting develops, and this is in Bergen, just middle of Bergen city. So again, lots of public, lots of kids seeing all these grotesques. And she has this very strange grotesque painting, like here at the same time they're very childish, but at the same time very like grotesque, and there's always this kind of somebody fucking somebody and something comes out of you, and somebody sits and cuts their tits and penises and stuff. There's really like grotesque, at the same time very childish, and it was very funny to see kids standing like this, and it was always parents reacted first, much more than the kids. Kids were just like, yeah, something like this, and then they went on. But I never heard anybody reacting bad as kids. I mean, they stayed a pretty long time, some of them. And this is always nice when you do this kind of thing, at least in this. It was very funny to hear that many people started questioning, but what is this? And then the next answer was, it's art. And then it was okay. You know, like as long as it's called art, you can do whatever fuck. It's just these crazy people, they're doing art, and then yeah, it's fine.
How do you relate to that, to Breivik's now being called mad?
I don't know. I haven't read anything, to be honest. After that, I haven't followed this, because I was extremely provoked by media, so I boycotted, because I really still don't know why I should read about that fucker. I really don't know why I should waste my time on somebody like this. I mean, it's just like he's a criminal, and as a criminal he should be, you know, he has done something terrible, and I mean, we are not in a Roman time, which we had different ideas of what we do, and we are not in the United States where they put people in detainees, you know, we don't have, so we have to find a legal name for him, you know, like something, or he's just a criminal, and then he becomes, if we like it or not, he becomes treated as any other criminal. And yes, he can be crazy, and he can be dust, he can be, I don't think, I mean, we have to understand we live in a country that we live in, so he's going to get 25 years maybe or something, or he can get a life, because there is one life sentence that you can give.
Well, now that he's declared mad, he just end up in mental hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I'm trying to not get so much into this kind of, I mean, what he's done is extremely terrible, but at the same time it's a criminal act. I think it's more terrible for people who have lost their kids and to read this than, I mean, if it becomes a demonstration about he should get a lifetime, I don't know if I want to go in that demonstration, because then I feel he will change my society, and I don't think he should change my society. I mean, it would be great if he goes to jail and he comes out and he says how sorry he is, and he's done totally wrong thing, and he's not married with a Pakistani woman in Chabur. I don't know. I mean, you know, like something, I'm just thinking like, in a way it's a better thing in a society that if he comes out well, I think, than he never comes out. I don't know, I'm just thinking. For me, I think now the question is how much should he change us? And I think he's already changing us too. I mean, this guy suddenly get manifest and books, and he is somebody to discuss, and I think this is terrible. I don't understand why we didn't decide that he's not that important actually. In a sense, but media writes about him like he's a pop star. Like very strange way. I think they deal with him. No criminal person. We have many people who have killed many people. No criminal has been getting so much attention than him.
Yeah, but I'm thinking in a way of marking somebody as psychologically disturbed. Like when you look into Iran, for example, if a woman come out without a headscarf, or 33 years ago, if a woman goes out like naked, they would immediately stamp her as mad.
Yes.
Or like artists, because people don't understand them and they cannot like digest or understand what they're trying to say. They call them like, oh, she's crazy, he's crazy. And now they're doing the same thing with Breivik.
But I feel Breivik madness is being studied. You know, I don't think he's mad because we don't understand what he's done. I think it's pretty clear what he's done and why he's done it.
I'm just looking at as a political thing, that it is a political response to the society. That, you know, he's mad, have a good Christmas.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's like, I mean here, I feel it is more like that it's really a medical thing, you know, like somebody has gone in and said that